I just don't understand, and this is me being a little bit naive and whatever else, and go, why not, for the Democrat Party, why don't you do this? I know it's going to blow everyone's mind. Why don't you get the best possible candidate that you can and just go in on Trump?
Well,
He's got flaws.
That's why this election is so dangerous. The reason why this election is so dangerous is we've accepted that someone could be the representative without going through a primary. So because we had to get rid of Joe Biden, and everybody kind of agreed after the debate, like, oh my God, he's literally falling apart. And they decided not to have a primary. And so once they do that, then you have the whole machine behind it, because there's a desperate attempt to redefine who this person is in front of everybody's eyes. This person that everybody thought like uses word salad, and all of a sudden now they're the number one person. This is our savior. Barack Obama's behind her. Everybody's behind her. Like, it has to happen like that. And that's kind of crazy because they don't have much time and they're kind of manufacturing a thing. So, like, they're going to try everything. It's like a desperado time. This is part of the problem with right now.
I would have thought they would have learned that lesson the last election, because they tried this shit. And it backfired massively. That's why Zuckerberg is now stepping back from it. I don't know if you saw Jeff Bezos' article in the Washington Post.
Yes, yeah, I did.
It feels to me like, at least among those guys, the tide is turning, man. They don't seem to be keen to interfere in anything like the way that they did before.
And also as well, just a final point, it's not like the Dems don't have form for this as well. Look what they did to Bernie in 2016.
Right.
So you just go, what, again and again and again you're going to do it? How are people going to have faith in your party?
Yeah, but people don't look at that. Isn't that wild? They don't look at the idea that Bernie was getting too popular. And that was the first experience that I really had with like getting attacked by the mainstream news. It's like CNN was saying that Bernie was on my show, that my show is sexist and racist or whatever the fuck it was. And, you know, that Bernie was doing a terrible thing by coming on my show. And that was when I was like, oh, they're trying to get rid of Bernie. Like, this is really interesting. Like, why are they you have the most popular podcast in the country. Why wouldn't he want to express his ideas out to the world? Because they didn't want him. And he was appealing after that kind of a conversation. And you're like, oh, so you're just going to take a fraction of a penny off of speculative trades and you'll be able to fund all these things like education and really? Can you really do that? And I was like, okay, tell me what you can do. Like, you've been around this fucking rodeo for a long ass time. Maybe this guy's got a way of looking at things that is, maybe it'll work. And then I saw the machine. And then they got him out of the primaries. I was like, whoa, this is kind of crazy. And they're willing to do that. They did it with RFK. Like, they would not let him have a primary. They wouldn't allow him to compete against Joe Biden. No fucking way. They had one guy, and that was Joe Biden, until it wasn't. And then when it wasn't, it was like, okay, Kamala, you got to be it. And then they just went hard pushing her through. And it worked really good until some of these interviews.
Right.
Because those interview things are just a super unnatural way to talk. You know, you have live cameras in front of you and all these people. And already, she's got to be aware of how many people are hating on her. She has to be aware. She has to be aware of how many people don't think she deserves a spot. She just got in.
Joe, can I ask you something? Who is the they? Right? This is the thing I'm genuinely wondering. Who is the they that's trying to get Bernie not to run?
First of all, it's the DNC. Clearly, if you read Donna Rice's book.
But there's got to be like one guy or one gal at the top of that, right?
I don't think so. I think there's an organization. I think, you know, you got your Nancy Pelosi's and all the people that are in power. And one thing to consider if you're thinking about like, well, like, why would they want Kamala Harris over anybody else? Because first of all, everybody who works in the administration right now is in the Biden-Harris administration. They would like to keep those jobs. Well, I'd like to keep this job.
That makes sense.
What do I have to do to keep this job? And those are essentially the people that are running the show because she's busy and he's not there. So, like, those people want to keep their job. So that's what you're experiencing right now.
But, man, you know, sorry, Francis, just to finish on like, it sounds like a trite and rather obvious thing to say, but you're running to be the leader of the most powerful country in the world.
Right.
You got to be able to fucking talk, man.
Yes.